Hi, welcome to Anything Can Happen Friday, where we discuss the whole aspect of social culture side of Southeast Asia. My name is Grace Cho. Music, music, music. What is it like to have music deeply planted in you and your life? Born in Australia, even though she wasn't born with her instruments or mics in her hands, she chose and followed her love and passion for music, and she's been doing it since then. Let's hear out what she's prepared to tell us at Rian ASEAN. You will soon listen to Daphne's single, Rooftop, just a short part. Then after that, we'll have a conversation. Stay tuned with us.
You know, you got me, body and soul. My love is pouring out, and you've got it all. So if you feel the same for me, don't you be afraid to leave, baby, 'cause I need to know it. Gotta show it. Will you show it?
Anything Can Happen Friday. The art and cultural side of Southeast Asia.
Today, in conjunction with the Asia Connection at Laundry, this is already our third series with them. In our house, we have invited this beautiful singer-songwriter all the way from Singapore. Her name is Daphne Khoo, so let's say good morning to her. Hello.
Hi, good morning, everyone.
How are you?
I'm good, thank you.
Right, so are you awake?
Yes, I'm quite awake.
All right, cool. So let's start this interview. So could you give us a brief introduction of yourself to our listeners?
Sure. So my name is Daphne Khoo, and I've been singing since before I can remember. Like 3 years old, I was singing already. So I entered the scene doing music professionally at about 15, and then I joined Singapore Idol when I was 16 till I was 17, and then went to school, and I was singing and schooling all the way till maybe about just a few years ago, and then but I've been in the music industry
quite a long time,
yeah,
right? Yeah. So it has been very dynamic journey for you in music. But what made you to jump into this scene? Was it really natural, or somebody recommended you, or is it something that you felt that you really wanted to do in your life?
I've always known that I've loved music, and I think like my family is we all love music in my family. Like,
so
we're always
any musicians in your family members, or
not in my immediate family. My dad is a really good singer. He likes to entertain just like his friends and clients and stuff.
Right.
But no professional musicians. My grandfather on my mom's side, he used to record singers back in the day when he was younger in Singapore, one of the first few producers in Singapore. So and they didn't even call it that back then. He was just like the guy that recorded people. Yeah, so
that's quite a long title.
yeah, it is a long title, but I mean, I guess that wasn't really a thing. There weren't like these these names for different people back then. And even me telling him like, so grandpa, you were like a producer. He was like, I don't know, I wasn't.
Well,
like,
now we call you producer.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, I think that was the only like kind of professional musician that I've had in my family. So, but I've always known that I've wanted to do it, and I think especially after Idol, it was like a huge stepping stone for me to, like, at least for me and for my family to know that it was a real career choice that I wanted to go ahead and take.
So tell me more about the whole process that you were during the Idol, that part, the competition, right? Yeah.
It was a really long time ago, but from what I can remember, I mean, obviously I was really nervous about it, and I was in between schools, so I just finished my O-levels and I was waiting to go into JC or Poly, and so those are like the two options after you finish secondary school in Singapore. And so yeah, basically I was trying to figure it out, and then they had audition calls for Singapore Idol, and my parents were pretty adamant about me finishing school first. So I just kind of went in secret to go audition, and told them I was staying over at a friend's house.
So you were being rebellious.
Yeah, I mean, I think back in the day when there was hardly a scene or hardly a music industry in Singapore, to want to do music full time was just not really an option. And so even though I knew it wasn't an option, I knew that it was something that I wanted to do, that I kind of had to at least try. And then kind of from there, with the support of my parents and the support of the people that voted for me on Idol, it gave me the courage and the strength to keep pursuing it till now.
Wow, that's a great journey. And from there on, you've been continuing the journey in this industry. But before we talk about the scenes in Singapore, more about yourself. So from there, if I'm not mistaken, you've played quite various instruments, right? The violin and piano, and of course you're a singer as well. So tell us a bit about that as well.
Well, I grew up, so I was born in Australia, so I grew up like with my parents trying to get me to learn everything. So I learned the piano and I learned the violin, and then I moved to Singapore, and then I only did piano, and I kind of wish that I had explored that and practiced a little bit more, but I just was kind of like a little overwhelmed with school because the school systems were so different. So I did a lot of school, and I kind of like let the piano fall to the side, and then I started picking up kind of like in like Christian fellowship in school. I kind of started picking up like drums and bass and stuff like that, but I realized that I'm like really bad at both of those things. I was like, my drumming was very limited, and my bass playing was also very limited. It was just like doom 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 doom.
Oh, were you singing at the same time? Perhaps that's why.
Yes, yeah. I think that's pretty much what messed me up on both ends. So I picked up the guitar. And then this artist came along the scene called Michelle Branch, and I really loved her. And she did a lot of she was a singer-songwriter, and she wrote a lot of her stuff on the guitar.
Right.
And so I like begged my dad to buy me a guitar.
Oh.
And that's how I started. I mean, I haven't stopped playing the guitar since.
So when it comes to playing guitar, you learn it all on your own, or?
I had a lot of help. I mean, I was pretty much self-taught, but it was a lot of like YouTube videos, a lot of like asking my peers and my friends who I thought were really good, be like, oh my gosh, can you teach me how to do that? Like, what did you just do? Can you teach me that? And it was a lot of, back then, I think I was more on fire than to learn new things. I wish I still had the same kind of fire, but, and I definitely don't practice as much, but everything from there was self-taught, pretty much all the way. Like, I went to a music school, but my primary instrument was voice. So I never took like a guitar class. Strangely enough, I took a bass class. But
took a bass class.
Yeah, it's like an elective, like a side class, and I was like, I want to learn some bass. So I took a bass class. It was actually quite interesting and really, really fun. But yeah, it was like very, very basic bass class.
Interesting. So. And then you also went to Berklee College of Music?
Yeah, that's right.
That's when you took voice as your major.
So my major was songwriting, but my instrument was voice.
I see.
Yeah,
interesting.
So it's very fun to be able to tell people like, this is my instrument. You know, like I carry it with me, like wherever I go.
So let's see how she's been taking care of her voice or instruments at the second segment.
Okay.
You're now listening to Durian ASEAN, the voice of discovery and sharing.